So, a lot of things that people notice about people with autism is maybe even ADHD, but we do not really follow societal norms. Did it ever bother you to a point where you're like, okay, I've identified this gap between me and my peers, and I don't know what it is? Like, when I found out, I thought it was me being awkward or socially not like fun or like to be around. Like, did you get to a place where you developed strategies to cope with the challenges of not measuring up to societal norms? And how did they influence your journey?
Well, yeah, definitely. I knew probably as soon as maybe even before I entered school, that I didn't measure up to social norms. Um, with dyslexia and ADHD, I felt like probably the ADHD drove most of the differences socially before I got into school, and then dyslexia started showing up even more when I got to school because obviously I wasn't learning to read as fast. I didn't memorize my math facts as all of that. So yes, I did and noticed that I wasn't in the norm. I also did develop strategies. I would say I developed strategies throughout my life, but probably the ones that I just sort of developed most quickly were the ones to mask that I was different. So I would act like I could read. I would, try and memorize what I heard people reading so that I could read or seem like I was reading. And the ADHD was just a little bit harder to mask because a lot of kids can sit in their seat, they can raise their hand before they talk, they can follow the rules. It seemed like so much easier than I could. So I was always getting reprimanded by my teachers, like, I've told you to raise your hand before you talk, or you need to sit still. No, you can't get up and go get more water. I needed to move. I felt like I was a caged lion. So it took a lot of my focus to just sit, and
Mm,
which then even made learning harder. So
yeah.
yeah. And then later in life, I began to, I never really, the only help I got in school, sort of outside the regular classroom, was speech, which is helping with a speech, we call it at that time a speech impediment. And I couldn't, my R's and my W's sounded the same. And in the part of the United States that I grew up in, that was also a bit of the accent. So it, um, we had the accent didn't say R's at the end of the word, it would leave it as an A sound. So anyway, it would be like car is how we say car. And where I grew up, it would have been ka. A little more British. Actually, when I went to Australia, they thought I was either British or Canadian. They didn't think I was American. Um, so anyway, that's the only time I got pulled out for services for school. So I never was given the opportunity to learn strategies to help me in school. It was all for me, it was all strategies that I developed to like protect myself. Later on, though, I did start developing strategies like knitting helped me. So I learned to knit in college, and that really helped me be able to sit in my seat and focus because I was able to move, but not be distracting. So, and that was on my own too. Yeah. So a lot of the strategies, however, they were great at masking, but I wouldn't say they were amazing for my school career or even my social career, you know? But
Mm.
we do the best we can as we try to meet expectations that are maybe harder for us than others. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Is because I'm like with people that I know, I'm quite confident. I can be seen as
Hmm.
bubbly, confident. I went into a networking event, one of my first networking events, and I was about to walk in and I was like, no, I can't do this. Like there's so many people. And I walked in and I was like, I'm just stood there and I feel like everybody's looking at me. It's so awkward. Why is this girl just standing there? And I was like, okay, let me pretend to be on the phone. Let me go out. Like and it was glass. It was like
Oh,
glass
so you
everything.
couldn't get away?
No, it's like even if you got away, they could see you. It was like
Hmm.
Big Brother. Like, oh God, oh, it was something, and I was like, no, I can't do this. And then I waited for somebody who, like, was coming in to talk to me,
Hmm.
and then I went in with them. So it was
Yep.
like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. And then this person it goes out and introduces herself to everyone. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's a networker, she's a da-da-da." And I'm like, ooh. I didn't realize I had to say hello to these people. I didn't realize I had to even
Hmm.
interact with these people. Like,
Right.
I thought if they asked me questions, I will answer them. It's like somebody said hello to me. Like, I would be like, I'll either nod my head, it depends on the sort of mood I am. I'll be like, hello. And then if somebody says hello to you, you're supposed to prompt it with, how are you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what if I just don't care how you are? What if you're just not significant enough? Like, there's even, like, I don't care if you're okay. Like literally when I go to
It doesn't.
interview,
And so, wait, do you not care if they're okay? Like, just because you don't care if anybody's okay? Or do you not care if they're okay because you don't know them, so there's nothing you could do for them?
no. But if it comes to like there's a worry, there's a concern, I'll be there. I don't care who you are. I'll be there. But like
Yeah.
it's that I don't care enough. Like somebody like okay, Danny, for
Like,
example, Jonathan.
like small talk.
Yeah,
You just
small
don't
talk's not
care
my
about small
thing.
talk. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if like I haven't seen them in I'm like, oh, how are you doing? How's work? How's your personal life? How was your family? Da, da, da. I care because I can then put all these pieces together and tell that would tell me how they are actually okay instead of oh I'm fine, yeah, everything's going like. And also I'm like it's absolute bullshit as well. Like they're lying to
Totally.
me well, is it like it's not like it's like I guess it's social cues, like you don't want to worry people. Da, da, da. And I'm like, why am I here to listen to that? I can listen, I can type it into Google Translate and press the voice thing, and it will say the same thing back to me. Like
Yeah.
so every time that I go to an interview, when I conduct interviews, I don't go to interviews that often, but when I conduct interviews, I have to write "Hello, how are you?" with my list of questions because I won't ask or like or I would be like, my name's Royce Me. I'll write it down so I have to say it. Or else I
Yeah.
just won't. I'll be like, okay, can you come up with what role you're applying for? I would just jump right in.
Oh, and you know what? I think we forgot to introduce ourselves too. So I'm Gail Suitor.
And I'm Royce Me. And I'm the one that wrote special script. I'm iconic. Oh, this is really good. Welcome to part two.
Oh my gosh, the same way. I have the social anxiety. And for me, the social anxiety comes from knowing that I'll say what's like right up, like if it's in my head, it's out my mouth. Right. And
Mhm.
so there's been lots of times where I've said inappropriate things that might like either not usually mean things don't usually enter my head, but maybe too, I don't know, my girls always say it's like too far. So maybe like too personal or ask too probing of a question or something like that. And so I know that I don't meet societal norms when I talk to people. And so
Mm,
that I think is what gives me that, like, I don't want to go in there
yeah.
to like meet a new group. But the same thing happened to me when I lived. So I grew up in the Northeast of the United States. Then I moved to the mid Atlantic, which is like the middle part of the East Coast. And they're very socially, they have a lot of social rules. And to me, it felt just like you were talking about, like it's all surface, like and nothing I cared about. If I want to talk to somebody, I want to learn something, not just be like glossing over everything. And but I did notice that they did the same thing. Like they would walk in and they would be like, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so. You know, welcome to my home." Like the whole thing. They had like this whole spiel, and everybody would introduce themselves to me in a certain way. And then I was like, "Oh, like you that's how you like break into a crowd or whatever." But
Yeah.
whenever I do get to those networking things, I'm always end up the poor person who actually engages with me with like just one person. And I'm like totally asking them, you know, learning about their entire life.
What do you do? Do you have a DBS check? What's your national
Yeah.
insurance? What is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How was your growing up? What was your, you know, what did you, yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, I come up as very like I will introduce myself, which I'm learning not to do, but I'll be like, I'll be like, oh, my name is Rosemary Raj from Mangrove Northborough. I'll say my full name.
Yeah.
And and it's a habit that I have, which I have to refrain from doing because comes off as pretentious.
Oh, really?
Apparently
But
so. I don't know why the reason behind it is, but it was something
because
that
you have such a royal name, maybe it's like long and yeah, that could be it.
oh my God, that's
Gail
only
Suitor. Nobody cares if I say all that. You know.
it's so it's like even humor is like very hard. Like even thinking about that, I was like, I got it, but I'm like, am I supposed to laugh? And how am I supposed to laugh? Because my like it's so much. Every little thing in life has little barriers. Okay, I need to smile when somebody says hello to me, but I don't know you, but I'm supposed to smile at you if somebody introduces me to you. I don't know anything about you, but you're like, yeah, hi. Like, I just didn't understand social cues, and I probably never will. I can remember social cues right now because I'm actively really thinking about it. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, like it's just crazy. Like, there's so much rules for everything, and I love rules. I'm a rule follower, I'm a rule breaker as well. Depends if the autism or the ADHD is there most. Whoever
Yeah.
wins that fight is the one that's going to do whatever. And it's so, yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's so many rules. But if somebody, like, it's so weird. Like, my autism social cues is when somebody comes and let's just say there's, okay, when I hug a certain person, I go squeak like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't say that to anybody else. If that person comes to see me and they don't hug me and say, and I don't have the opportunity to say squeak, I'll be like, they hate me, they don't like me. What's going on? My routine is broken.
Oh, interesting. But
Yeah.
and they know your routine when they come,
Yes,
or they
because I'll be
don't.
like, what?
Oh,
I'll be
okay,
like,
okay.
I'll either be like, I'll either go like it's like I have non-verbal cues, or I have I just stare at them and be like, or I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's going to a point where people will walk out the room and will come in again just so we can make our routine right.
So you can like restart it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's those little small things that make a massive difference. It's like you're making
Mm-hmm.
this extra effort of taking the extra 10 steps when you're, to go out and
Yeah.
back into the room to do our routine because you understand how important it is.
Yeah.
I like, is there ever a time that you thought of neuro, because you prefer the term neuro-distinct.
Correct. Yeah.
So, have you ever thought of neuro-distinct to be a certain way or had certain misconceptions about it that you're like, oh, yeah, like now looking back, it doesn't make sense. Or now looking back, I see how wrong I am, or how like I was uneducated at the time, or
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, I really think life is about sort of evolution in understanding, if
mm,
that makes sense. And so you do as well as you can with what you know at the time. And I can tell you, parenting is probably the most accelerated, humbling course you could ever take in evolution and learning more about, changing your view about the world. Yeah, so I definitely think that it's always, for me, I think a term trying to describe a group of people is oversimplifying, if that makes sense. Because if you took me as an ADHD dyslexic and you took somebody else in the room as an ADHD dyslexic, our experiences of being neurodistinct are still totally different. It's not like one thing. There's certainly some traits that we can relate to. And I think, but it doesn't mean that our experiences and needs are the same. So to think about neurodistinct and think, that every neurodistinct person is the same or needs the same thing or experiences the world in the same way is not, it's wrong, right? So I, yeah, so I struggle with labels, to be honest, because I feel like people make generalizations, and with labels they think it's okay to make a generalization. And then I just read your lips. um, so anyway, that's the hard part, I think, with labels. And I haven't been able to figure out if we could get around it. What do you
it's
think?
you know what? Like I feel like like I feel like, you're gonna love this and I'm gonna love this, but I disagree. Is I
Yeah,
feel
of course, that's why I love you, because
I
you always do it so good. Yeah.
and and it's the thing is like other people will be like, oh my God, it's so threatening. She's trying to be like this, is it? But I feel like neurodivergent people or neurodistinct people understand. Like, oh, you're like, oh, new.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It
Yeah,
like comes in like a glittery, sparkly thing
it
waiting.
does.
And it's real gold, not just no.
Yeah,
Um,
not fake.
yeah. So I I think labels are important. In that what's really annoyed me is when people say in my past experiences, people have said, well, I don't see the labels. I don't see you as the diagnosis. I'm not the diagnosis, and the diagnosis is not me, but is part of me.
Totally.
And
I
it's
agree
like,
with that.
yeah. And for you, like not you, like, people, for
Yeah.
you not to for you to say that you don't see me as something that is part of me is like saying to someone, oh, you're not Asian. I don't see you. Like, it's when people say I'm colorblind. What do you mean
Yeah.
you're colorblind? Like, no, like race is important. Race plays a massive
Hmm.
factor,
Hmm.
and it's important because history is not going to let you forget it. Like,
For
number one.
sure.
And number two, race is
Society never lets you forget it.
no, society would never let you forget it. And and everybody's like, oh my God, race, 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 race. But it's part of everything. It affects
Hmm.
every single part of your day, your life, your whatever. And it's
Right.
crazy. And I'm like, well, it's like you're not accepting a part of me. The second problem that I have is with people that have that mindset, is like them saying that I've had people say to me, well, they'll be like, okay, like for example, like what has your doctor said about you getting dysregulated and stuff? And I'm like, it's normal for people with autism. It's normal for people with autism and ADHD. It's normal for people with personality disorders. It's normal for people with and they're like, well, your doctor is just justifying it. Your doctor is just like, you know, is like allowing you to be like that. No, my doctor's not allowing me to be like that. My brain is creating these displays of behavior, which is a presentation of emotions and feelings that I cannot communicate. Is what I don't understand is when a 2-year-old, I don't like the word tantrums, I hate them. But when a 2-year-old gets dysregulated and really, really upset and really, really angry, he starts throwing things to whatever, is more acceptable. Because you say, oh, they're just 2 years old, they don't have the words, they don't have the capacity to understand what's going on and articulate that for them. But because you get older, like as a human being, doesn't mean that your emotional age is going to be like that. There's so many factors that come into that. And your window,
Totally.
yeah, definitely. Like your window of tolerance is reduced by these. Is there a way that you'd be able to like shift your laptop?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Nice problem solving. I was like, I don't have a shade. I don't have anything to do. Thank you.
No?
That's a nice. Excellent. Yeah. But maybe the universe was just saying, here comes the light on what you're saying. And see, now I'm getting a reflection from this. Okay. Hopefully we'll make it through. Okay, good.
And it's like,
yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
You were saying like all of a sudden it becomes socially unacceptable. But yeah. I would argue that even like as a mom with neurodiverse kids who did have meltdowns or became dysregulated in public places, that even when they're 2, even when they were babies, I would get criticized. Like, you need to parent that child. You need to like, and once it was on a plane, so I couldn't do anything about it. Like, usually if they became dysregulated, I'd be like, okay, this is too much for them right now. We're going to like leave. But when you're like stuck on a plane, you can't go anywhere. And literally once a lady came up to like my chair and she was like, you need to, get that baby to quiet down. Like she came back 3 separate times. So it's, to me, I often wondered, I'm going to have you think about this one. Ready? Do you think people like that who can't tolerate other people becoming dysregulated were like reprimanded or for being dysregulated themselves so much, it's just not going to give up, that they themselves they feel like they're restricted in their ability to like embrace their emotions, and so then they're like hyper vigilant about trying to make everybody else shut down theirs.
You know what? I feel like a certain extent of trauma can do that, but also at the end of the day, like it's what I don't understand. It's like you were a baby one day, you were screaming, you were doing this, you were doing what? That's what babies do. Like if even when people have problems with babies, the mother can't do anything, the father can't do anything. Nobody can do anything. They're going through this process. They're going to figure it out. Even if you feed them, change their nappies, did whatever, they're not going to stop crying. They will self-regulate or co-regulate, and they'll figure it out. And that's really small pieces of regulation at a very young age. And you're expecting like how many ever months old or like 2, 3 years old to like self-regulate or co-regulate very, very quickly. That's not going to happen. And I don't think it's the parent's fault. I do not think it's the parent's fault.
No.
And I'm like,
and you know what, too? I think it was interesting. So I did in my podcast, I interviewed a mom and her son who was, I think he was 13 at the time. He was autistic, and he did a beautiful job of describing, I like, it just keeps following us, of describing what it feels like for him when he has sensory overload. And he talked about it like for him, it would start in his arms. And he said it's literally like like an electric system shorting out when his brain gets overstimulated and he can't regulate anymore. And he goes, my arms feel like they're balloons, and they're blowing up and coming down, blowing up, coming down, and then it starts spreading. So if he can't get out of the situation that is causing him to become dysregulated fast enough, then he like becomes totally dysregulated at that moment. He can't move, he can't do anything, because he described it. I don't know if you have them in the UK, but there are these advertisements in the US. We have these people, it's not people, but they're basically like round tubular kites that look like people that have air going through them, and they flop around.
Yes, we see them.
Do you
in
guys have those?
American films.
Yeah. So he said that's how it feels. It's like his whole body is just short-circuited. He is unregulated, and there is absolutely nothing you can do for him until it passes. And like to keep engaging with him makes it take longer. Is that what it feels like to you?
Yes, it feels okay. Like for me, it's like there's needles, like micro needles it starts off in my face. There's multiple needles constantly stabbing into my face, every inch of my face. And then
so it's painful.
It is painful. If I hear a loud noise, I will scream, and that's what people do when they're in pain, but it also brings me physical pain. It hurts my ears. Mm-hmm. It hurts my neck when I go like shake my head all of a sudden. And then depending on how I stim, if I close my fist, I have this thing where I have it's tics, essentially it's tics. Where my hands will close up in a fist and they won't unlock. And this can happen for days where they won't unlock.
Oh, that must be so painful though, because don't they just get so sore?
It gets so sore, but there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And the thing about dysregulation, which is amazing, one of the amazing things for me, is once I get dysregulated, and even if I've like my fists are still closed as I'm coming down, I'll be able to sleep. And I don't sleep.
Yeah.
It's like so much energy is used up that, it's like sleep. So that sort of pain. And even people have said, even when I'm sleeping, that fist, like they've tried opening it, nothing. It won't even budge. Even when you're unconscious, it won't budge. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I get pain. And then like it's gotten to a point where every cent, like I don't like, for example, like weights, right? Like I can't carry a 1.5 liter bottle for a long period of time, like even drinking it without feeling pain, because that weight is causing my hands to seize up again. Because is that additional stimulus.
Is that every day, or is that just after you've been dysregulated?
No, every day.
Wow.
Additional stimuli will make me. I'll bang my head at randomly. I could be doing my work and then go bang my head. It's probably because I'm lacking stimulation. I'm a sensory seeker. Like there's nothing that I can do to suppress it. It's like if I want, like you said earlier on this episode, that if you want to say something, it comes out. But when you try to suppress it, don't you feel like every part of your body is like seizing up and like ticking excessively to the point where you're like, I need to say it, or it's going to bring me discomfort and distress.
Right. No, and that's the way for me. It is that way, and also to ask me to sit still is like that. Like it's like hard. It gets harder and harder and harder and harder. And then like all of a sudden I'm like totally dysregulated. I have to like get up and go walk out or walk around. Yeah, it's it's painful. And and for me, my dysregulation comes out in anger, which isn't great because I feel disrespected to be asked to sit in a seat for 8 hours, like in a training or something, you know?
8 hour training that's just going on, like.
Yeah. So it was when I was a teacher, it always blew my mind that we would have teacher trainings of these people that have come up with these great ways of new education for whatever subject it is, right? And they would be so hyper focused on delivering their content, they would never think of the actual like people they're training. And if you're a teacher, that's all it's about, is thinking about who you're training and who you're teaching. And so they would go on and they'd be like, oh, we're skipping this break. And to me, who is just sitting there. So the interesting thing was, for this master teacher that came up with new techniques to not consider their students made me feel like it wasn't that they weren't really master teachers, because they were just master thinkers of the content, but not able to deliver the content in a way that people could learn. So I was sitting there. She said, oh, we're going to have a break here. We're going to have a break here. And then I dial in my my need to move. And the break comes and she says, we're going to skip it. I get totally angry and I just get up and I walk out.
Speaking of Jonathan, but like you said, like
is all is well. That wasn't an emergency. Oh, okay, good.
I was like, and I forgot I called this person earlier. So I'm like, what's going on? You don't call me, I call you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's the great thing about ADHD. Everything's new. Anything could be new at any time.
it's like I find, oh my God, I don't know if this is the ADHD thing or anything, but I have epiphanies. Like,
yeah.
Like, and it's like really obvious things, but it's clicking in my mind in that moment. Like, I'll be like, oh my God, I have sensory processing difficulties. I know I do. Like, subconsciously I do, but for me to realize that in the moment, be like, and I have this thing, right, where I randomly say, I'm autistic. I'm autistic. I'm autistic.
Yeah, it's interesting. That guy that I interviewed, that 13-year-old, he also found that he could work longer and not have sensory overload if he was in a green building, like, meaning we call them green buildings here, but buildings that are built to use less energy. Because he was like, a lot of our schools are really old, and he said even the like old heating system or the lights and everything, he can hear all of it, right? And he said, so when, say, the furnace turns on to heat the school, and then there's like the draw on the energy, he can hear that. And so like all of that sensory stuff is going on in the background as he's trying to learn, and he's trying to manage all of the deep sensory details throughout the day. And then it's too much. So he switched schools because his mom moved, and he said it was a green building, so everything was using way less energy. And he said even though there were more kids in the school, there was less sensory input. And so he had way fewer sensory overloads during the school year than he did in the old school. And it was all about the building. It wasn't about anything else. And so to me, isn't that interesting? And so if we share what's hard for us and how it feels, I think that gives people information who are trying to design like universal design to know that some autistic people, also ADHD has the same thing. Like, it shouldn't be called attention deficit disorder, or it should be called attention regulation disorder to me, because I notice everything. The question is, can I focus on the thing that I'm supposed to be focused on, or am I going to focus, like, hyper focus on something else? Right? So it's, can I regulate my hyper focus?
It's so hard.
But so if you talk about how it feels in your face, what, like, all the things that you're noticing in different buildings, in different places that you live, it gives more information for people trying to design more accessible spaces for everyone.
I feel like I was talking about this with a lady that I was having a meeting with today, and it's and I was like, you know what? Everything's about money, 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 money. But you know what? Like these people that like usually start like these mainstream education provisions, are they getting a bit of like quite a bit of funding from the government? Or they are from big institutions, and I'm like, you can afford another however many hundreds of thousands of pounds. You will get that back in so many different ways. Like by having more students, like, you know, through funding from the government because of additional needs, whatever it may be, you'll get it back so quickly. But that child's one difficult experience is going to follow them in life, because they're going to compare everything to that situation, because that place wasn't an accommodation, so why would my workplace be?
Right.
Oh my God.
And so many places aren't. So many places still aren't. So I don't think that it would necessarily be a wrong assumption that it wouldn't be. But isn't it great that he learned that it is different in different buildings?
And you know what? That is such a moment of growth, because you, like, before you just get distressed, or you would just not just get that makes it sound absolutely terrible. Like you just, you know, get really
It's
overwhelmed.
distress. It's painful. I mean,
Yeah.
he said the same thing. It's extreme pain.
I was talking about the word just got distressed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Details hard for my head.
It's okay. But like you get distressed. Oh, this is not the day for everything to go wrong. You get like distressed, and you don't have time to process anything.
Totally.
And then you're like, okay, how did I end up in this situation? I have no idea. The situation can happen 20 more times again, but you still won't know. And maybe the 80th time you're like, oh yeah, maybe it's because of the lights. Maybe it's because of this. And trying to piece all of this together.
And it's tough because I think the hard thing is, because of our individual differences and different triggers, that it does come down to us figuring it out, right? I mean, I think we can once somebody figures one thing out, what they're finding is, if you don't have lights that make noise, or if you have a quieter space, it's better for everyone, not just people who are really hypersensitive to it. But at the same time, when you're the person with the hypersensitivity or the trigger or whatever it is, it's up to us to figure out what is the trigger. But there's so many things happening at so many different times. And I think most neurotypical people have such great brains at like being able to filter what they're experiencing. They don't understand how many things are happening at once.
You know what? My processing is like, I can tell, like, when, for example, one of my my line manager, not my employer, my line manager refused to get me headphones. At that moment, I got very angry. I didn't say
Oh.
anything. It was, it's part of my access to work. I should have got it. She's not in a place to argue. I have to, I still have to, I wrote the emails, I have to send it to her. But like, I was like, I'm angry. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah,
But I'm like, I can't formulate the words. And then now I'm like, and I'm just like, okay. And I'll be like, no, this is wrong because this is not
yeah,
acceptable. Because the way that I could react in that moment, I don't know how I'm going to react. So I'd rather be quiet
yeah,
or just not be able to like process it. And finding the words is so difficult. And people don't realize
yeah,
how it is.
yeah. Everybody always says to me, like, um,
Just say it. Just say it.
just say, or even knowing that I have, because dyslexia also makes it hard to find the right words. But for me, with the ADHD too, for me, my experience is if it's in my head, it comes out my mouth. So it's like once that, I call it the switch, once that switch is flipped and I'm mad, then it's like you like it's really hard for me not to say what's like gonna come out of my mouth. And so everybody was always like, well, you need a go-to line. Like, I need a minute to think about this. And I was like, if I could think about a go-to line by the time the switch is flipped, that would be great. But it's too late before then. So I have tried to develop like that routine, almost like when you walk into a room, right? Now we have a routine where we're like, oh, we say, hi, my name is this. And we say, how are you, even though we don't care. About the like it's so true. I'm the same. It's like I do care how you are, but I don't care to exchange niceties. It's a waste of time, right? But yeah, so I can do that when I'm walking into a place, but when something happens to me,
I have a question.
yeah.
How do you handle being in America? Like where people are like really super friendly and when you go into like a shop or
Well,
you
see,
or
where I grew up, they're not really super friendly,
oh
which
that's
is
nice.
nice. Yeah, it
No,
was
I was
really
being so
nice.
genuine. That might have come out as
Yeah,
sarcastic, but I was
yeah,
being genuine. Like I'd rather somebody be like just ignore me and be like what
totally. So we don't have to engage.
yeah,
Yeah,
I like be like even like just like or like just like scan my shopping and just tell me how much it cost and
yeah,
say it's okay to insert your card now. That's it. That's all we need to do. I don't need
yeah,
anything else.
yeah.
Like it's like that situation you're making it so much more overwhelming. And one thing that I like Tesco's
Oh
that
my
is
God, that's
Tesco's
hilarious. Sorry, it's just so true. And then, but people don't get it for us. And it's so like, yeah. But could we say,
don't talk to me.
but then it's like a whole effort thing, right? Like we can't say anything
No, but
because,
like if I went with a t-shirt saying "Do not talk to me," people will strike up a conversation because of my t-shirt. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way to cope.
it's a nightmare. I'm laughing because it's stressful, not because it's like I'm laughing at. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so true. There's no way around the neurotypical assumptions of like interaction.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, Tesco's.
What could we say? Could we say,
Can
could
we
we
say?
have a, could we have a t-shirt that says, the fewer the words, the better?
They're gonna be like, "Oh, nice quote." You're not thinking this through.
No,
Nice
it's
quote. I
true.
don't
The
want
people
to
who
go.
are going to,
How about
yeah,
like I'd rather can I be honest with you? I'd
yeah,
rather security accuse me of stealing than me go through a whole interactions in the shop. It doesn't really happen in the UK. It's rare unless you look like you need help, like medical attention.
yeah,
It's rare.
yeah. Oh, so they wouldn't engage you.
No, they
Yeah,
wouldn't unless you approach them.
yeah. So in the Northeast, which I think is probably because that's where like the original, pilgrims settled. So maybe we are more like the UK. There's not a lot of interaction or niceties
I have a
as the
question.
Yeah.
Did you know your neighbor when you lived up north?
Well, first of all, I didn't have any neighbors.
Oh yeah, you lived in that farmland, didn't you?
Yeah, I lived way up on a mountain in the forest.
Oh,
My closest neighbor was pretty far away, and it was my aunt. So I knew them. And then the next neighbor that was pretty far away was my grandparents. So I knew them. But it wasn't like, yeah,
you were social
yeah,
distancing before social distancing.
yeah. Well, which was great since I wasn't socially acceptable.
You know what? It's like interactions are so exhausting and overwhelming. If I went to
Yeah.
America, I'd probably get shot. I'm gonna be honest. I'd just be
What if
like,
we said, what if we had just introvert? Then people know that we don't like to talk.
"You're trying to be quirky." I can hear
Yeah.
American. I can't say that in like a mocking American tone. That's the only way I can.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
fine.
think I've ever heard a British person say quirky in a not in an American tone. Like
Yeah.
like like an American
Like,
like
yeah. Yeah.
like quirky like yeah.
You do a great accent. Like that had no accent to me.
Yeah, we were. I feel like we won't survive in each other's territories. Not territories.
Yeah.
I'm very. I don't know why I said territories. I'm not a part of a gang, but like it's like
Yeah. It's true. Well, but all I'm saying is it definitely differs. Like the interesting thing about the United States is there's definitely huge cultural differences wherever you go. And
mm,
it's so it is like you can't go to Boston and then go to, let's say, Atlanta and think it's going to be the same. It's totally different.
I love how you have to go to a different state. You go 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes. You go a few minutes down the road, and
Yeah.
the culture's different.
Yeah.
The population's
It's
different. The dialect is different.
totally, totally. Yeah. Everything is different.
I feel like the UK is smaller but has so much more culture, like in terms of
Yeah.
diversity. There's
Yeah.
so much
That,
more range of people.
you
Um,
know, I thought that originally too until last week. My nephew graduated from the armed services, like the basic training.
oh my
And
God.
I went there and I was like, this has everything in the United States all in, 1,000 people between the graduates and their families. And there were so many different cultures, colors, everything. It was like amazing. I mean, for an attention for ADHD or like to be able to see all of those different things, I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was so great. But yeah, but where I usually live, it's usually not very diverse. And maybe that's because my husband's in private education. So people are paying, so it's like white, rich people.
Sorry, like the way that I was staring at you was like, really?
Yeah,
Because in the UK, there are some areas which has a lot of white people, but it's again you see the odd whatever. Like,
that's true.
but like I feel like it's like London is so metropolitan. There's so many different cultures. You go
Yeah,
to
that was great. I
Glasgow,
loved it there.
yeah.
Yeah,
You go to Glasgow in Scotland, which everybody thinks is the capital city, which it's not. But if you go to
yeah.
Glasgow, there's so many Asian people there. There's so many, like, there's white, there's Asian, there's blacks.
Hmm.
Not many black people, but like it's like Asian people is there, white people is there, and like a few black people. Da, da, da. And it's like I feel like you won't. There's like certain places where it's like white, like
Yeah,
not really. It's like it's white to an extent, but it's like you'll see a black or Asian or what like whatever other ethnicities like every 2 steps.
yeah. It's
It's
cool. It's nice,
that's just
right?
really being American. No, I just
Yeah.
don't care. As long as you don't interact with me, I really don't care.
Yeah, it's really it's interesting in the US for sure. We are behind on I feel like we're behind on the race diversity thing, and we're behind on the neurodiversity thing.
There was this American lady that applied to our organization. Um, and you know what? I could tell the difference between the gap in America when it comes to neurodiversity because of how the language that was used. She was really lovely. She was really open to learn. She was really enthusiastic. I'm meeting her later on in 3 hours. She's like lovely. She's absolutely lovely. And I'm like, you can tell the gap when people speak about certain topics. And you know what? Like, I don't know if you've seen, I don't know if you've been on LinkedIn. I feel like we should just have discussion weeklies at this point.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's so true. We could we could put we could put it on both of our podcasts. So then it would
Yeah.
be like, yeah.
Like, but like, who's gonna get the more views? The UK or the America? Yeah, I can see that turning into a whole thing, and I would get super competitive.
Well, you're way ahead of mine. You're way ahead. So you'd win every time, as you should. You're really great.
Thank you.
I just love it. I love every bit of it. So go ahead.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, you were going to meet her in 3 hours. She's lovely. She was behind in neurodiversity.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Have you been on LinkedIn recently?
I mean, yes, but I don't spend like cruising time on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't seek out things. Why? What's going on?
I'm 18.
Because I'll dive in if I need to.
I'm 18. My most used apps should be TikTok, Instagram, whatever else. Why is it LinkedIn?
Yeah. Oh, you have to be 18 to be on LinkedIn?
No. I'm 18. I'm saying I'm 18. And people my age should be like their most spent time should be on
Instagram, totally.
YouTube, TikTok. And
but
I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, because you were born a professional.
Yeah. I don't see the point in like socializing or like going
out. That's the other thing. It's not really our thing to just watch stuff that it's like,
like I feel like I'm watching a film that is not going anywhere. That's what I feel like in a
totally
party. But a good party with the right mood, with the right energy, with the right music, we're getting down.
Yeah, but when it's really good like that and it's the right music, you don't have to interact because it's the music.
Yeah,
which is great, right?
Universal language.
Totally. But do you guys have? I'm sure you do. Do you? Nope. I'm going to stop. It's totally off topic. I'm not going to start us on something else.
I'm keeping most of this podcast together because it's great. I like it.
Well, do you guys have those parties? They're like silent parties where you all have your own music, but you're dancing together, but everybody's dancing to their own music.
That's so crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna say no, but I'm not sure. But we have like silent discos, but everybody's listening to the same music.
Oh, so I think now I've never been to one, so somebody might be like, we don't have that, but it would be a great idea. I think that we have the silent discos, but maybe there's like 3 or 4 channels you can listen to, but it's definitely not all the same music. But wouldn't it be even better if you were listening to your own music? Because then you get to choose.
Because I'll be like, I'm dancing like this, and this person's dancing as if their grandmother died like a few seconds ago. Like, it just looks strange. It's true.
Dancing looks like my grandmother died, even if I'm dancing to upbeat. My dancing's terrible.
It's so crazy. I don't know. You're a big advocate for mental health, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure.
This is a conversation that I wanted to dive in with you as well. So, you know the term committed suicide?
Yeah. Oh, you're really going to get me in trouble here. Okay, go ahead.
What do you think about it?
I haven't. Oh, are you? oh gosh, you're just going to get me in so much trouble for this. Did you read something about either? Okay. You really want me to dive into this because it's a definitely, as usual, you're going to definitely disagree. And then also, it's very controversial the way I feel about it.
I feel like it's definitely controversial, but if you want to discuss it, we
Okay.
can.
No, I'll dive into it because I really do feel like it's important to um take the shame out of it, if that makes sense. Um, hold on, I just need to.
Okay, shall we start off with something simple? Yay or
No, no, I'm gonna just dive in. Okay.
nay?
So for me, in my belief system, I believe that I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. So I believe that every body is a mix of the body and the soul. And every soul chooses when they're going to leave. Like it's sort of like almost like a contract of like, yeah, I'm out. And so to me, suicide is just a soul choosing to leave their body. And it shouldn't necessarily be shameful for the person's family or whatever. But I do also think that we can prevent some suicide because suicide ultimately happens when the person feels like the suffering to stay, like staying creates more suffering and cannot be overcome.
Yeah.
So they choose to leave. So I do feel like we can make this earth a better place for people. So there's less suffering and maybe more souls would choose to stay because it wouldn't be a matter of suffering to stay, if that makes sense. But I have suicide in my family due to mental health issues or health issues. Um, and in those times, like, I totally get it. Like, I don't feel like they should, like, I'm not mad at them. I honor their decision. I feel like their life was really painful at that point. So maybe so I guess that's where it's controversial. For me, I think it's okay to choose. Like, you're done and you don't want to do it anymore.
Hmm.
But there are people who could have, I mean, so for instance, my aunt who did kill herself, she had been in mental health treatment for 4 continuous years, not in working with supposedly great experts, and nothing was helping her. And so after 4 years, she was like, I'm out. And I feel like at that point, she did everything she was aware of trying, and nothing sort of gave her the relief that she needed. And like, I guess I'm okay with it. But the things that really hurt me are like the teen suicides, where like their brains are teenage brains have really high, like been it's been proven by neuroscience that when you're in adolescence, your brain's dopamine drops really low and then spikes really high. So if it's something that's regular, not exciting, you do feel clinically depressed. And then if it's something new or novel, you're like, it is like being bipolar, right? So some of those suicides I feel could definitely be avoided with better mental health, better explanations of what they're experiencing, better education. And if it wasn't so shameful, maybe kids would reach out, right? If it wasn't shameful to say, wow, I really feel like it's not worth living anymore. and it was okay to talk about, we might be able to like help people through that too. What's your, I see your thinking. Lay it on
Um,
me.
can I, can I be honest with you? I agree with I don't like the term committed suicide, um,
Yeah.
because of the negative connotations that it has of being sinful and it being a crime. And
Hmm.
lots of people will argue, well, it's not a crime anymore, but doesn't mean is in certain cultures or certain families is not treated as a crime or a sin. So,
Totally. And
certain,
religions.
yeah, a lot
Mhm.
like in Islam, in Christianity, in I don't know other religions, but I can definitely say Christianity and Islam. It says it is a sin to commit suicide.
Mhm.
And if somebody is dying, or like, I mean, like somebody is like
Chronically
their own
ill.
life,
Hmm.
I'm like, why, why are you adding another burden onto their dead body? Their soul
Yeah,
left their body long before they took their own life.
totally.
They're just reconnecting again with their soul.
That's the way I feel too.
Yeah. Um, and they're being free. They're being, you know,
Yeah.
for they're being like out of pain, whatever. I do the reason why I brought it up is because I made a post saying that I was like it was a repost of somebody's post saying like I was agreeing with them that committed suicide should not be that phrase should not be allowed to say because it comes with a lot of stigma, a lot of shame, and you know what? And people in the comments to my post are saying it's not. Well, I don't think it's their concern. They're dead. Like I'm paraphrasing.
Hmm.
But I'm
Yeah.
like, no, okay, it might not be like, the deceased person's concern, but their family. Like,
Totally.
let's say they're from a religious family. So their relatives are saying to the deceased parents, deceased um
Or
parents,
siblings or whatever.
primary
Yeah. Yeah.
caregivers that what your child done is sinful, is a shame. So why
And
so
also, like a lot of people turn it on them, like, when didn't you know, or whatever. And sometimes you do know that they were going to do it
at the
and you
same
didn't
time,
stop it, right?
but what
Because,
can you do though? It gets to a point where there's like, what can you do? You can't do anything. Not eat
right.
like, and the one thing that I do disagree with you, but I agree it's sad and it's very upsetting. But I
Hmm.
feel like teenage suicide or like youth suicide, as okay, so I have a very professional stance on it, and then I also have a very personal stance on it, and they're kind of
Yeah.
into professionally. I think it's failure of the systems that these children and young people have actually. I think when I think a child or a young person or a vulnerable person um dies due to suicide related causes, I think it's murder. You've not given them the support. You
Hmm.
know they're vulnerable. You know they need help. You know, like let's just focus on youth because you brought it up. Let's keep
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
to the topic. Youth, they're vulnerable. They're already deemed vulnerable. They're automatically, as soon as they come into the world, until they're 18 or 25 if you have
25, I feel like. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
25 I don't feel like is enough. But like, 25, you have this, thing, but they're protected, they're things. But even if your like, disabilities and stuff come into account and is up to 25, you're neglected as soon as you turn 18. So if you're a
Hmm.
young person, you've already been failed by the system. And if you're young under 18, you're being failed by the systems. Psychiatric ward admissions are not happening.
Hmm.
Like when they need to be. They'll be like, oh, they're fine. This is the 20th time they came in this last month. They should be fine. They haven't actually managed to kill themselves. Number two is that psychiatric wards are not places for children. I've been to psychiatric wards. I've stayed there for extended periods of times, multiple times. It's not a place for children, especially with those with autism ADHD. It's rare
Yeah.
to
Oh,
find. I've never been to an adult psychiatric ward, but I know in a children's and young people's psychiatric ward, if you don't have autism and ADHD, you're rare. You're phenomenal. Like, it's rare.
mhm. Yeah.
And it's saying something because you're neglecting these vulnerable neurodivergent children. You're not giving them the support. If you're not giving people with additional needs the support they deserve, and then you get extra funding through, local authorities, the central government, EHCPs, PIP, DLAs, whatever it may be, clearly it's not enough. Clearly it's not working. So how are those with undiagnosed difficulties able to get the help that they need all the things? And why do I have why do I didn't have to do this, but I know people that has to be like, okay, you have to you have to say, I'm gonna kill myself today for you to get seen in the next
Yeah.
week.
Totally.
Why do
And some people won't even say it to begin with, right?
yeah.
Yeah. They'll just do it.
And I'm like, and you know what? I've come close to death so many times. And I'm just like, you know what? At that moment, when I was faced with death, I felt so much peace. I was scared, but I felt so much peace in the fact that all my pain is going to go away in a few seconds. I may feel physical pain for a bit, but that's easy to deal with. And like the pain that I've dealt with for the last 18
Oh,
years.
yeah. Yeah,
And I'm
totally.
like, and I feel like when vulnerable people, children and young people included, get the opportunity to take their lives and they manage to do so, or even if they tried and they didn't manage to do so, it's
Hmm.
murder or attempted murder because it's neglect. You've not given that child the resources to thrive or even manage, survive. Forget about thrive, but just to survive. So how are
Yeah.
you expecting them? Like if a child dies, but if you think about it, okay, hierarchy of needs. Let's go to that. The first
Yeah.
one is like basic air, food, warmth, shelter,
Right.
and then it's psychological safety. But why
Yeah.
is it such an alarm when a child doesn't have food? It should be an alarm, but why is it just like, oh, the child doesn't have food, the child's homeless, alarm, alarm, alarm. But when the second stage is not, it's barely off the ground, is not met. Oh, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And you know what I think is absolutely useless? Telling children with significant needs and difficulties to focus on their education. Just them going to school is good enough.
Yeah.
Them being in a place where they have some sort of routine and structure, they don't have to follow it, but having that routine and structure for 8 hours of their day, doing whatever, they don't even need to sit in that classroom paying attention and taking notes. Even if you rock on your chair, that's fine. Even if you like start soaring airplanes, who cares? Like it's about you being there and in a supervised place where you're safeguarded. And these children are not safeguarded. I think children who and young people, yeah, I'm gonna say this again to like conclude my point, but children and young people, as well as vulnerable individuals, if they manage or not manage, but if they manage or attempt to end their lives, I think it's attempted murder or murder. Because these people should be safeguarded, and why are they not?
By the state, you mean like, yeah.
By the state,
Or
by
yeah.
but nobody like parents don't have power. Parents can only do so much, but parents
Yeah.
don't always have the financial. They don't have financial. Most parents don't have financial freedom to be like, okay, I can allocate that £5 to getting some snacks. No, I have to either put it into my gas, my electrics,
Hmm.
or food, or my children.
Yeah. And sometimes the parents are maybe the ones that have started the psychological unsafety. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, can they actually undo it? It's it's such a complex, like the individual complexities of youth suicide, I think is probably the hardest thing because, yeah, not that we shouldn't be working on it, because we should be like pouring in a ton of resources trying to figure out how and what makes things work, to like just sort of a baseline of, if this and this happens, it safeguards, it psychologically safeguards most individuals, and then like moving up the hierarchy of interventions, right? But I feel like we don't even have those, at least in the United States. But also, after working with neurodiverse kids for 28 years, I also know that their truth or their perceptions of what they're experiencing is not, hold on, sorry, that was a ding, is not the same as what their parents are thinking. So,
Yeah.
and neither one is, it's like I try to honor both of their perceptions, but then try to help them see each other's perceptions. Does that make sense? It's like, so it's almost like they're in two totally different VR headsets or video games. And it's being interpreted so differently by the people who are experiencing the same things out. So then, to me, when I see that, I am like, wow, how do you solve that issue of it's all about the perception of the person, right? How do you solve that?
And I feel like
Through,
there's no
maybe
fix.
through curiosity. I mean, I've always explored it through being curious. Like, what are you feeling? What do you perceive? Why do you feel that way? What started that? And then it's like you can also find out where the parents are at and be curious about what they're perceiving. And then how do you like open each person up to the understanding of that? It's very hard.
I don't think there is any sort of I don't think there's any sort of cure or any sort of intervention that will support that person to
Everyone.
feel like that ever again. I tell people, who are worried about my suicidal ideations or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be suicidal for the rest of my life. That's a guarantee. I can tell you right now. For the next
Yeah,
60 or whatever years I have left in this on this earth, I will feel suicidal. But is not about people get concerned about the idea of suicide, and they should be
right.
concerned. But suicidal ideation should be flagged up, but also understand that person expressing the need to die is also a form of expression. That is,
Totally.
and that can get confused, and that the safeguarding bells ring for that. And then that risk of suicide becomes higher because people are putting unnecessary restrictions in place,
Mm-hmm.
taking as
Yeah,
a
mm-hmm.
I
It's hard.
want to do this, but I won't. It's like
Right.
like if I can imagine that even if I have children, family, I'm in the best place in my career, I'm gonna be suicidal. Little things make me suicidal. I lose a pen, I get really, really suicidal. I fall to the point where I want to kill myself, and that's
Yeah.
the reality. Like I get
Yeah.
really strong emotions.
So do you feel like that needs to be fixed in you, or do you feel like that's just part of you and
That's always going to be a
there's
part of
no way
me.
to, right, and that it can't be
It is how
fixed?
I manage it, though. Is like whether I go do whatever it is to get myself to a point where I'm no longer living, or is it
Mm-hmm.
okay? I'm feeling this. That's fine. Let me sit with it. no matter no matter how difficult it is. And you know, one thing
Yeah.
that I don't like is when like police officers, paramedics be like, "Oh my God, if you kill yourself, you're gonna traumatize other people." Or like, let's just say you're gonna jump in front of a train. You're
Yeah.
gonna traumatize the train driver. I'm like, have you ever thought how much this person is traumatized and how much shit they've gone through their lives for them to be to the point where they want to kill themselves?
Yeah.
I
Right.
started I started trying to kill myself from the age of 5. And people didn't know until I was 14 and 7 months.
Yeah.
And I'm
Because
like,
then you shared it with them, or or you had a more
10.
successful attempt.
No,
Which
I
one
was
was it?
10. No,
Mm.
I've woken up. I remember very young, probably somewhere between 5 to 7, where I've like done I suffocated to the point where I've passed out. I found myself and the thing on the. I don't want to give details, but I don't want to give people ideas
Right.
of what to do. So I'm
Yeah,
really
you're
sorry.
right. You're right. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think we should go into details.
Yeah,
But
but
I
I would
I
be like,
wasn't asking for details, but I was asking for like why did people then know at
because I was in care.
14.7?
Because my parents were
Oh, oh.
negligent. My parents were
So I don't
abusive.
know your whole story. Is there like one podcast where you go through your whole story?
Um, I
Like,
probably
did you?
don't. I've never done that before, because I had no one to go through that with. But yeah, there's
Oh,
people.
that could be one of our monthly meetings. We could go through each other's. Like one will do you and one, yeah. But if, but my, so when did you enter care? How old were you when you
14
entered
years and
care?
7 months. I was going
Oh,
to social services before then. I
but
decided
you
I
were
had to
living with your parents.
both. Yeah, my biological parents. I was living with them. My
Yeah.
brothers.
Yep.
I'm talking about it at the time of going to care or at the time of social services getting involved.
Tell me both.
So the time that social services was getting got involved was September 2019, and my mother's 2 brothers who sexually abused me
Oof.
for from the ages of 7 to 13. They lived there. They got removed by the
They
police.
lived with you and
Yes,
your parent and your biological parents.
my biological parents, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, my 2 brothers, and at that time there was a family living with us as well. It's like Asian people, even if
Wow.
they can afford their rent,
Yeah.
they like living with other people. I don't know why. It's probably the
Yeah.
community. But I'm like, it's like, and then, but then
So
everything,
social services got involved
no,
because they found
when
out
the
you were
police
being
gets
sexually
involved,
abused.
no,
Yeah,
because I disclosed sexual abuse at school.
good.
Once the police gets involved, I don't know if American police officers can do this, but the police officer could be like, you cannot go near there at all, and if you do, you will get arrested.
Yeah. Yes, we call them restraining orders. Yeah. To the person who was victimizing the person, right? To
Yeah,
the perpetrator. Yeah.
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 But yeah, it's the in part of the bail conditions. We don't have bail
Yeah.
where you can bail out, you give us a amount of money. It's like the
Yeah.
police will either bail you or your time will run out and you'll bail us up unless it goes to court. But yeah, and then the time that I was going into care, it was my paternal grandmother, um, my 2 brothers, my biological parents, and me. And you know what? Can I be honest with you? COVID was the best. Like my parents started. I never without COVID. I don't think COVID was the best thing that could have ever happened with me because my plan was go to university, make money then, and run away.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't last that long. And you know what? Because of COVID, my parents started isolating us from other people. So they were being emotionally abusive. They started getting more emotionally abusive and isolating us from the outside world.
Hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? I can't live like this. This is not for me. So I emailed the police of the detective that was working on my sexual abuse case and be like, I need my father smashed my phone up. And I didn't know there was a thin screen underneath your phone
Hmm.
until it was broken. Um he smashed my phone up because I said I was going to call the police. Love Ursuline. Shout out to Ursuline High School. They gave us laptops, and on that laptop, I emailed the police officer. I don't know how it is like in the UK, but you need to have, I mean, in America, but in the UK, you need to have access to your emails because you can be called at any moment, any
Yeah.
day. You're like
Oh,
basically
interesting. Yeah.
on
Wow.
shift, 165 hours.
Hmm.
If you're called in, you come in, unless
Yeah.
you're like on the deathbed or not in the country.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, so
So
that
you got yourself out of there.
yeah, I was like, you know what,
Did
I can't
that
do
get
this.
your brother out of there too?
No, my brothers are still there. The level of risk, you know what? I advocated for my brothers to the point, but then I
Hmm.
realized, you know what? They had it
It's their
better than
journey.
me
Yeah.
in certain aspects. My
Yeah.
brothers, if they called me now, I would drop everything and go to them. They're under
Yeah.
18. My brothers don't.
Yeah.
My baby brother doesn't understand anything that's going on.
Yeah.
He was 4 when this happened. My other
Yeah.
brother, he understands a bit more, but he doesn't understand the complete situation. He thinks of me
Does
as
social services go check on them though, since they had already
not,
had one sort of abused child, or no?
no. So basically, what happens is in the UK, there's several types of child protection orders.
Hmm.
So the highest one, there's 3, I think. The highest one is a child in need, I think, and that means
Hmm.
social services has to visit you every 10 days without fail.
Yeah.
And there has to be a meeting that happens, I think, once every week or once every 2 weeks. With your whole network, so school,
Hmm.
healthcare, da, da, da. And then and my brothers, they were looked after. They were like my social worker visited them, and eventually the case had to get dismissed. If my brother, the thing about it is, my brothers need to speak. They don't
Yeah.
like because in family court, a child's words or an abuse, a child's word is taken way more seriously. Who is this now? A child's word is taken very seriously, and
Yeah.
it's like having evidence. Is that
Yeah.
evidence is so strong? It's like video evidence in like HD, so clear,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it everything. So yeah, like my brother, because he was 4, he didn't understand the severity of the situation. So when social services and the police went in like 2, I think it was like a day or 2, they were like, he was like, oh, they were like, oh, did anything happen on that day? Did your sister get hurt? He's saying every single thing. He didn't understand that this
Yeah.
is serious.
That he, yeah. Yeah.
He's just saying everything. But you know what?
Perfect though. Thank
Yeah.
God.
And you know what?
Yeah.
It's you know what, also my reputation at school. I was well behaved. I like 96% of the time I've turned my homework in on time. I was I conformed very
Mask.
thing, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
masked and conform to these societal norms. And yeah, like everybody would believe
I
me.
mean, did you do that because you felt like if
No,
you
I was
you would
happy
be,
to something.
if you could be better, then you wouldn't get abused, or no?
I did have that. I even till now, I think my academic validation, what about my academic validation? My worth equals my academics. That's my whole because
Yeah.
it's Asian parents. My parents, well, I feel
Right.
like most Asian parents are like the stereotype. Education, education, education. My children, I'm gonna be honest with you, they need to have their GCSEs, their A levels. I would like them to go to university. If they don't, that's fine. But I'm not pressuring them to get grades. If you pass barely, that's good enough. What's the point? I don't. And the thing is, there's no point if you pass highly or not. There's only a few
Right.
UCAT points you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
The life is not ending. You could be the 1% where you're gonna be really, really successful. There's so many people that are successful and they do not have degrees. They do not have like even like the what society deems as basic forms of education.
Yeah, totally.
You'll be fine. And that heavy emphasis on education just says this is a money mark. This is not even about you. This is about how much we're going to brag to our relatives, our friends. This is how much we're going to be show off. But this has nothing to do with you. My parents are, in a way, I don't know them right now, but I can tell from the whole of my life, my parents are the way that they are and they can't be changed.
Right. Hang on. You keep talking. This is that.
And they can't be changed. And I was like, you know what? There's no way that I'm going to change. There was no way that, you know what? I can't put up with them. I'm not going to change for them. They're not going to change for me. You know what? Every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. And that's something I'm going to definitely stand by. Because there's no point.
It's so... I agree 100%. It's funny. One of my students wrote an essay on, it was like an opinion essay, but it was so true. It's like we educate everybody for everything except for parenting. Like anybody can have a child and nobody has a class. Right? It's like, I feel like, why shouldn't it should be like your license? I mean, like, we can't drive without getting education, but yet then we raise a human being with absolutely no education on it.
And you know what? It's so true. Can I be honest with you? It's I don't think my parents have given me the perfect guide to what not to do as a parent. It's a perfect guide, honestly. It's they've done everything under the, I don't know how the saying goes, under the sun?
Under the sun. Yeah. I think, although I mix my metaphors up all the time. So
I've never used this metaphor in my life. What am I talking about? Everything that's possible, every possible forms of abuse on me and my brothers. You know what? And I'm like, ooh, not to do that to my child, not to do that to my child, not to do that to my child. And you know what? I recently put, I think at 2 a.m. today, I put a post up on LinkedIn saying, it was a poem that I wrote. In shadows deep where scars reside, beneath the cloak, the pain does hide. From words that cut like sharpened knives, in shattered hearts they hurt survives. Biological ties, a twisted thread, bound by blood but filled with dread. In the darkness where fear takes flight, their echoes haunt throughout the night. Yet in the midst of stormy seas, a beacon shines, a gentle breeze. Chosen parents, like sturdy oaks, their love a shelter from the Stokes. That through tender touch and soothing voice they mend the wounds, they heal the noise. In their embrace I find my peace when hurting hearts at last release. But still, in moments when tears fall and shadows loom, I hear the call for Amma, Abba. Through far away, their names on lips in whispers stay. For roots run deep despite the pain, in every loss a trace remains. Though chosen love may light the way, biological echoes never sway. So in the silence of the night I reach for them, in dreams take flight. For though they hurt, they shaped my start. And Amma, Abba dwell in my heart. Just saying, like, you know, even that you don't have,
it's a great one.
Well, thank you. Even if you don't have like biological parents, or even if you had bad experiences with them, you don't want that. You don't want that. You want nothing to do with it. But doesn't mean you stop that
wanting them to be different.
Yeah, not even wanting them to be different. That desire to have biological parents. To be there to hold my hand, take me to school, drop me off, and wait until the school day started and dropped me off.
Yeah.
Not just left me there, but like, wait. for parents to be like so many things, and that desire never stops. But I have my own parents. My grandmother gets upset when every single time I say this, but I have my own parents. I have multiple parents.
Yeah.
I have so many parents, more than the average person. I can say that for a fact. And you know what? They're my
Yeah.
family. Like it's to a
Yeah.
point where I even have like tattoos. The one is on my leg, but tattoos linking to my chosen family. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'm so determined. You know, I'm always so determined to get rid of my Raja Kumar. I would
What's
never
that?
will. It's my surname.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would never get rid of that only because of my brothers. That's my spy
Yeah. So
thing.
they can track you down.
Track me down. They have my number.
If they need, oh, they do.
Track me
Well,
down.
I didn't know. Maybe
What?
like, what if your parents wouldn't let them have your number or whatever? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Then I feel like, oh, trust me, I know where they live. I
Yeah.
will hunt them down. I don't care. I absolutely don't care. I'm just thinking of the time. I don't know. We've gone through so much.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Yeah.
conversation is as productive, and I feel like it's better than the script that I had prepared.
Always. I think that we should trust in what needs to be said at the moment because it obviously needs to be said for somebody to hear.
Yeah, this is where I bring back a conversation that we had like 40 minutes ago. Yeah,
Bring it back.
the suicide thing. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? No, actually, I do want to bring that back around because maybe even us saying that a young person's suicide is a murder. I mean, maybe that's a judgment too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Can I say why it's a murder?
yeah, because they were underserved or right that their suffering is too great.
It's not the fact that
But
it's something too great, you know, it's 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 because it's you're deemed as the most vulnerable thing. Children have what 25 or more rights more than adults. What's the
maybe in
point
the
of having
UK. Yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah, true. United Nations doesn't follow it everywhere. But you know, according to the United Nations, but you know, but none of that rights. Where does all of them are broken as soon as a child dies? You didn't protect
Yeah.
them safety. You didn't give them the support that they needed. You didn't,
Right.
you know, if I knew my child was suicidal or whatever, me and my partner is taking shifts. We're doing half an hour checks. Like,
Yeah.
you okay?
So, but yeah, but so then my question
But
is, I mean,
then,
you're not old. You're not old. And, but you're saying basically like, this is just part of me. It's
yeah,
not something that needs to be fixed.
for me, that's for me though. But if
Yeah,
someone, if, but there's a difference where it needs to be, there is intervention needed. Fixed
that's true.
and intervention needed. When intervention is needed, it's not where the closest thing that children, youth suicide is getting, the closest thing to an intervention or medical service they're ever going to get is their autopsy.
Yeah.
Not the weekly support or bi-weekly support. Forget about all
Not
of
the
it.
parenting, I mean, not the parenting classes. I mean, imagine though, if we really think about that. So 95%, I don't know if I said this in our last thing, but part of when I was going through education, I did research in a maximum security prison here in the United States. 95% of those men came up through foster care, which is our like, you know, state care. They were taken away from their families because it was too abusive and given to the state. 95%. So if we actually had parenting classes and not just a class like, oh, okay, now you have a kid and you have your license to parent, but like, why isn't every family given support every week? Because parenting is hard. And
I love how you went
especially,
there, and I was going to be like money. Everything
yeah,
has
but
money.
parenting is hard. It does. But Do you know how much it costs to keep those guys in a maximum security prison? A ton of money. And
But can I
even
be honest
at
with
that
you?
time, the little state that I lived in, Vermont, was going to spend, this was in 1989, $8 million just to build another prison to house those people. Imagine if all of that money was pumped into preventative.
Can I be honest with you? But there's
Yeah.
certain parents, no matter even if you, it's like drunk drivers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, for
You're
sure.
not allowed to drive under the influence. You're not allowed to drive 80 miles per hour on a 20-mile road. You know,
Right.
but people
But
are still going to do it. I feel like even foster carers, the
yeah.
amount of
Oh my
barriers
gosh,
you
the
need to get
foster
to
cares.
become a foster carer. There's so many
Yeah,
abusive ones.
totally.
I've had like my first ever foster carer was abusive,
Yeah,
but was less abusive than my parents. So it seemed
yeah,
okay. This has seemed like more of an
yeah,
ideal.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like,
But
you know
if
what?
there were those supports there, then it would be discovered sooner, hopefully.
No, I don't think they would. Because
You think they'd
humans
still hide it?
are like some humans,
Diabolical. Yeah.
they're
Yeah, it's
absolute,
true.
they're absolutely cunning. They're
Yeah, it's
manipulative.
true. Yeah,
Like there's I've like this like men in authority. Like in great places of authority, there's women as well, but it's mainly publicized cases are mainly men. And also 97% of women get sexual assaults in their lives, and ones that only disclose. So that's place
yeah,
with. But like it's these men's in power and authority, whatever. They're abusing their wives because of their name. It keeps them out of trouble. It keeps them out of whatever.
yeah, that's true.
But
You're
that
right.
face they put on for the public, the people that they work with, oh my God, he's charming. He's this. He's lovely. He's so funny. He understands. Like he's very in tune with emotions and it. And then when he goes home, he's a different person.
Okay, I'm going to give us, because I know we're running out of time, but I'm going to give us a little switch on something that we did agree on, I think. We both agree that there's souls in the body and souls leaving the body, going home, being safe, right?
Yeah.
In my belief, those souls incarnate into bodies to learn about something. Like the soul is learning through this incarnation. We're building universal consciousness, right?
Yeah.
If the soul comes down to learn about suffering,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like there's no way to stop it. So is it not that we shouldn't, I'm not advocating that we don't try to prevent suffering, but at the same time, if the soul's here to learn about suffering and then the suffering is done and the person is like, I'm out of here, exiting the soul, exiting the body because the suffering and the pain is too much, they commit suicide. Was that preventable, or do we have to admit at some point that souls come to learn about different things?
You've gone all spiritual again.
I know, but
It was so.
is it
It got so
what?
spiritual that I was mainly focusing on the spiritual thing instead of the words. I was like,
Oh, I'm sorry. So, but
it's
souls come to learn, right? Or do you think that souls come into their body to learn about something? Or do you think once it's in the body, everything just unfolds and there's no like rhyme or reason?
I feel like a soul is it's like flowers, right? Your soul is a flower.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get butterflies. The white butterflies, they're pure. But butterflies, it doesn't matter what color they are. They want that nectar. They want that anything from the flower, the pollen, the whatever. Doesn't matter about the color. The white pure ones are going to come, and then the black, the darkness is going to come as well. And I feel like, how the body has like the red, that warm sort of, I feel like bits of your body turns black or white, or depending on, and all your experiences get yeah. It sounds crazy.
No, I think it's true. Like nobody gets out of this off this earth. No soul gets off this earth unscathed, right?
Mm, yeah.
Everybody has some form of suffering, some way worse than others,
Yeah.
obviously.
Would you like to conclude this episode for us?
Yeah, sure. I guess it's just an interesting thing to think about, right? Is it preventable or is it part of the matrix? Yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
Ro say your name for me, Royce me.
Voice me.
Royce me. Thank you so much for having me again. And I would love to have you on mine once I get it started again. I've just been working on my book. But it is an honor to see your beautiful soul come through fire and reach out to help others. But to me, that is like, sorry, powerful.
Oh,
I'm emotional. Just ignore it. If I'm not between a 7 and a 3, I'm teary-eyed. So you just have to like roll with it. You don't have to be worried about it. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for like being out there, being curious, and helping others through your curiosity and your experience. It's been an honor to be on your podcast.
whose podcast am I on? I feel like I'm on yours.
No, I'm just thanking you. I need to thank you for doing that. And I don't mean to overwhelm you with the
No,
like
you're not
energy coming
overwhelming.
through.
I just can't handle nice things. Like, because
Yeah.
I know this
Well,
is a podcast, I'm keeping my shit together. But usually, like, people close to me, when they say nice things, I go, oh, disgusting. Oh, like, oh.
it's okay. You can say it because I get to say it for all the other people out there to understand what a powerhouse you are. It's amazing and inspiring. And you're so young and you're already like, I'm 57. I feel like I'm behind you. So it's like, you're really amazing. And I appreciate you reaching out. And it is an honor. Yeah.
I'll be honest with
And
you.
yeah.
I'm very glad that I reached out to you. It's an amazing to meet you. It was absolutely amazing, and I hopefully will continue doing more work together because
I agree.
you came into my life. You can't just get out just now. Like it's not like a.
Same with me. But I know that I'm intense, so I have to also honor that some people aren't as intense as me. So sometimes they're like, I'm out.
Oh my God. Trust me, I can match that intensity.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best part of our lives, isn't it?
Yeah. Those who understand it will cherish it. Those who don't, they can just fuck off.
Yeah, they're lost.